Hello, my name is Anne Marie Bayer. Today I'm going to tell you guys how to make my favorite soup. The soup is called creamy potato soup. And the soup is really an old recipe from Germany. In Germany they tend to cook with potatoes, they mix a lot with cream, mushrooms. It's just kind of their thing that they do over there. I make it without one main ingredient, and now I'm going to tell you how I make it. So if it's one person, you only need one potato. If there's two persons, then you need 3 potatoes, but you can figure that out yourself. So your first step is to peel the potatoes, wash them off, and then after that's all ready, then you'll go ahead and cut the potatoes in cubes. Like 1 inch, 1/2 inch, kind of like that. If you're gonna cut the potatoes up and put them away for a little bit, you need to put them in water because they will brown. Because they will, if they're exposed to oxygen, then that's just what happens, they become brown. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna put a little bit of water in a pan, maybe like 1 cup or 2 cups for 2 people, So put your water in, throw your potatoes in, and it depends on how much heat you want. Depends on your stove as well. Sometimes you can just have a little flame, or sometimes you'll have a lot more pressure and you'll have a bigger flame. And in that case, it would take 1 or 2 minutes to cook them, not that long. So once they're all done, turn the flame off. You don't want to take the pot off when the flame is on, because then you'll just kind of lose your gas and it's pointless. So you need to turn it off. Honestly, you can leave it there for about 20 or 30 minutes. And then make sure again that you turn it off once you're ready. What will happen while it's cooking is the starch from the potato will coat the inside, and just go ahead and clean that out, throw it away. Leave the water and the potatoes in there because you'll need that in there. Then you take your food processor, you get your potatoes and pour them in there. And your water as well you can put in there, and then go ahead and process the potatoes until they're creamy. And you can put them in another saucepan, but I try to save myself a lot of cleaning time after I'm done cooking. So I usually just put it right back in that bowl that I started with, because, what's the big deal, right? So yeah, I just generally use that same bowl, so I would suggest the same for you. So once that's all done, you can add more water because sometimes it'll turn out more thick than you want. So go ahead and try it, and if it's too thick, just add a little bit of water. Just keep, playing with it. Sometimes you don't need it, and sometimes you do. So I'm going to back up real quick. Before you do your potatoes, you need to saute the onions. You'll need 1 onion for 1 person, 2 onions for 2 people, etc. So go ahead and cut them up really small, and then saute them so they get brown. And this is so it adds a lot of flavor to the onions, it caramelizes them. And I do add a little bit of oil. So go ahead and brown those, saute them, and then add them to your potatoes. I, at this point, like to add seasonings. I like to add salt, cayenne, pepper, a little bit of curry, just for a little more flavor. Sometimes I'll put in a little bit of cumin, just a little bit. But that's pretty much all that I use for this recipe. So there's one last ingredient that you're not going to use, but instead you're going to use cream. So once that's all done, cook it for about 10-15 minutes, and the onions and the potatoes will blend with each other. So you're going to just kind of need to use your intuition to see when it's done. But when it is done, I usually cut it up and sprinkle celery on top. And then it's all ready. It's really good with French bread, or sometimes I'll eat the soup with salad. Sometimes I'll just make a huge salad for a week, so then, when I come home, it's all ready for me, and I just have to warm it up. It's really nice. It's really nice in the fall to early spring.